Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar on artificial intelligence, Unplugged. Thank you all for joining. I think some of our attendees are coming in. We already have more than 2,500 people joining us from all over the world, including India, Middle East, Australia, Canada, and students and teachers and other people from all over the world. And thank you all. Let's just take one more minute to just let some more people come in so that they don't miss out on the valuable content and being shared by the speakers today. As you are coming in, just if you can share the location, the city that you are coming in from, just type it on the chat box. Hi Manish, hi Krish, hi Garima, hi Vishnu, hi Rudra, hi Divya. So we have Delhi, Bangalore, Kuwait, Amritsar. It's just too fast. I can't even read. So thank you everyone for sharing your information, and we are all welcome here to the AdmitKard presented Artificial Intelligence Unplugged. Today we are going to talk about some of the basics of artificial intelligence, and presenting today are Mr. Dheeraj Bhatia. He is an experienced educator, entrepreneur, and investor. He has been working in the education industry for a very long time, and he's the managing director of Educ Learning LLP, and he was the co-founder of Crips Learning and Solutions Private Limited, which is India's leading publisher of school computer books and digital interactive tools used by more than 6,500 schools and 5 million students all over India and Middle East. He's a Bachelor of Computer Science from Kurukshetra University and has graduated from Harvard's Graduate School of Business. He's also a cybersecurity intervention officer and a chief mentor at our own AdmitKard. Very welcome to you, Dheeraj. Dheeraj, can you hear me?
Yes, Piyush. Thank you, Piyush.
Thank you. Thank you for joining, sir.
Good.
Next, we have Mrs. Gurpreet Kaur, and lovingly we all call her Gurpreet ma'am. She is an educationist and been working in this domain for more than 22 years with the mandate to make teachers tech transformers. And that's what she's been propagating for many, many years. She has various certifications and with various educational organizations like CBSE, ICRT, PSS, CIBE, ICDL certified, Oracle certified teacher in PL SQL programming, Microsoft Innovative Educator, and Adobe Creative Ambassador. She has been working towards making teachers and schools ready for the new innovations that are coming our way and making our schools more technology enabled. We welcome you, Gurpreet ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear us?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Piyush, for that kind profile build up.
No,
Thank you.
I think we are very, very happy to have you here and have you share your experience with the students and teachers who are joining us today.
Sure. Look forward to it.
Quickly, myself, Piyush, and quickly sharing about myself a little bit. I am an engineer and MBA graduate, studied over the world, and right now helping students to study in various countries outside of India. And right now as the director of AdmitKard. So guys, less about me and more about the organization that we are working with. We are AdmitKard, and we help students apply to universities abroad with the help of our artificial intelligence platform and our mentors. And that's why we decided to share more about artificial intelligence with all of you today. We have more than 500 mentors, and these are students, Indian students studying abroad in more than 200 plus universities across the world. And they have helped in the last 1 year about 1 lakh students from India, resulting in 2,000 plus applicants and admissions in global universities around the world. One such mentor today, Ishwar from RWTH Aachen in Germany, has also joined us. and will be sharing his experience of studying AI and robotics in Germany and how you all can achieve that dream as well. So here I would just like to invite Mr. Dheeraj Bhatia to share some words and initiate this webinar.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible and my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you everyone for coming in big numbers, and especially outside people from outside India. So many schools from Middle East. They are also over there sparing their time. Thank you very much. Uh, Overall, our endeavor has always been to share more knowledge with you and keep you updated with all the latest trends and technologies, specifically in IT and other areas. And I am thankful to Piyush for hosting this special webinar. And special thanks to Gurpreet ma'am, who is always passionate about spreading the knowledge. So, as the topic for today, the artificial intelligence unplugged. I hope you all can correlate with this man. You all can recognize this man. He is Gary Kasparov. Kasparov was is renowned as the best chess player in the history. Became the youngest world champion as a 22 years old person, and he remained number one uh, chess player in the world continuously from 1984 till 2005, and that was when he retired. But in public memory, Kasparov is always remembered as the human world champion who lost to a computer. In 1996, Kasparov beat Deep Blue, and IBM sported chess playing computer in a match. And in 1997, Deep Blue's successor, Deep Blue 2, beat Kasparov in a return match. And Gary Kasparov thus became the first chess world champion to lose to a machine. It was a watershed moment in the history of technology where machine intelligence has arrived at the point where it could beat human intellect. The watershed moment in the history of technology. So, and what was the Gary remarks after losing to Deep Blue? The few people in the world know better than I do what it's like to have your life's work threatened by a machine. We all talk about artificial intelligence and the disruptions it brings to the world, but that is all a part of the reality. 23 years later, from that time till now, AI is far superior and having a much larger impact on our lives. But when we spoke to Gary, so what has changed since 1997? So he said everything as well as nothing. AI will continue to change our lives. AI technology will continue to change our lives in ways large and small, but not in any grand movement, leading to utopia or dystopia as the breathless headlines of in the media often present artificial intelligence that it can be a killer thing for the world. End of the day, it's all about technology and it's not any magic. It will spread slowly, often in unexpected way, similar to the way electricity came and the way we have been harnessing the power of electricity, and even the uneven, unpredictable growth of internet. Both at the time when they came, they seem beyond comprehension and with limitless potential at first created an euphoria. I still remember the time when we used to connect with the on with internet on the dial-up modems, and the moment we used to get connected, a euphoria feeling used to come. But now, we all have become accustomed to them, and we take both electricity, internet, and all these related technologies for granted. And when we talk about artificial intelligence, the human and machine, because artificial means anything which has been constructed, which is being made, created by humans, by man. So, end of the day, artificial intelligence is all about a human and machine collaboration, which turns out to be the future as well. Following his defeat to Deep Blue, Gary introduced the concept of advanced chess, in which a human and computerized chess program, they play as a team against another such pairing. So, end of the day, it is all about human and machine, and the idea becomes to leverage the creativity of humans with the brute force abilities of machines. So we have, with artificial intelligence, with humans plus machine, the plus factor becomes the most critical. Human plus machine. We are entering an age of human empowerment where technology will augment humanity and fundamentally improve the way we all live and work. Among so many advancements in AI, how it is going to impact the healthcare is going to be one such big areas where a lot of research is going on, from connected health devices such as wearable sensors and trackers, which most of us have already used. We are moving far beyond the wrist worn health trackers. Even the current wearables and trackers are becoming more clinically relevant and more medically accurate. With we talk about smart things, smart objects, the mirror which we use in the morning can detect changes in our skin condition and even eye health. The on which we sleep can detect our patterns, interruptions, and even our body temperature. So more such smarter everyday objects like we are talking about, all these will play an increasing role in our healthcare and create new data, new opportunities for insights that will help us to inform the future clinical research. These are some of the leading AI applications on which work is going on. And as you can see, how much of research is happening. And all over the world, all the leading countries, they are playing a lot of emphasis on research based on AI. Our own favorite friendly country, China, you would be surprised to know that it is the leading countries. And in the last 2 years alone, it has filed more than 500 patents on AI based technology, which is more than some total of patents filed by all the countries in the world together. That's why we call China as a dragon also. So, but as we talk about AI, the collaborative AI, we also have to look forward to a responsible AI, because when we talk about AI, definitely like any emerging technology, it always brings disruptions. So impact of AI on jobs may be overstated, but that doesn't mean that AI poses no threat. Because when we say the impact may be overstated, it is also creating so many new jobs. When computers came in India, people were saying, "Oh, with such an overpopulated country, computers will, lead to loss of millions of jobs." But today, India is the IT superpower, and it has created so many opportunities. But yes, AI poses so many threats. With some military developing autonomous weapon system, there is a real danger that an AI algorithm may one day decide to kill without a human in the decision making progress. But such a stance is not a reflection of technology, but of ourselves, because it is human plus technology. And we must make the effort to avoid having these amazing tools exploited and used against us. And as Gary said, that we need better humans and we need more better humans, not less technology. This is one of his famous books by Gary on deep thinking, where he talks about artificial intelligence, how it is going to move forward. So, moving over, we have, when we talk about better humans, we have one better human in the shape of Ma'am Gurpreet Ma'am, who talks a lot about technology, and she has a passion for educating people. So, with this, I hand over to Gurpreet Ma'am for taking it from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And a very warm welcome to all the amazing participants who have joined us from far and wide. I welcome each one of you personally. And as very rightly put, I'm a very passionate educator. I love empowering people, be it my students. Students are, of course, my lifeline. I have been a teacher myself for almost 22 years. And now I'm on a mission to empower teachers to use technology. And what better time than this pandemic to tell us how much technology has taken over and how much it has become the necessity of the day. And now we to today delve deep into demystifying artificial intelligence for all our lovely participants here. I would like to start with a very small game just to break the ice. I want you to just think about three strategies that we can have when we want to make a human guess the correct number as fast as possible. So the first strategy can be I can randomly pick a number between 1 and 100 every time regardless of any previous attempts. Whereas second strategy can be I can systematically guess 1, 2, 3 until the correct answer is reached. And then the third strategy, which is probably the best one, is that at the end of each guess, I would take a human feedback to restrict the range of values from which I pick. How many of you think that third strategy is the best? Just think about it for a second. And out of these three, I'm sure most of you will agree with me that probably the third strategy is the best. If we think so, then let's do some reflections. That means that human feedback will help me, right? Second thing is, it is important for me as a human to learn from our past mistakes so that I do not make the same mistake again. And third thing is, this also tells me as to how we as humans learn, or how do we build up our intelligence. So we as human build intelligence or gain experience by taking feedback, right? So that means that brings us to the conclusion that the first two strategies do not use human feedback in any meaningful way, and hence they are very inefficient. The third strategy is said to be able to learn from its previous mistakes and progressively adjust its guesses. And that is why this is the best strategy. And this is what is the essence of learning by trial and error, or in other words, this is what is building intelligence, right? So let's look at some AI humor. The robo is talking to two humans and he says, I wonder whose job will I take first? And the human says, you could never do my job. And the robo replies, I'm doing it right now. So let's learn AI before this happens to any one of us. Let's understand this technology. Let's not just be hooked onto our devices. Let's use them in an efficient way. And while the machines are learning, humans are hooked. So let's turn the table around and let's us also learn in the meanwhile, right? Okay, so what is learning? Obviously, most of you will understand that when we are babies, when we are born, even we do not know anything, that we have come to a new world. It's everything is new for us. How do we learn? So we learn out of experience. We learn out of looking at our parents, our environment, and we learn through our experience. Similarly, in the world of computers, the experience is equal to data. So that means the more data you feed into your systems, the more accurate the result will be. And that is what is the basis of entire artificial intelligence or machine learning, so to say, right? So the bottom line is that data is very, very important. And that is why suddenly big data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning are gaining strength, because we have huge volumes of data, and this data is, a lot of them is unstructured, so it's in different variety of data is possible. There can be textual data, there can be image data, there can be audio data in terms of podcasts, and that is why data is unstructured and there is huge amount of it. So we need efficient systems to build experience, learn out of that data, and kind of predict results for us, right? So what does that mean? That means AI is not only going to implement, affect one part or the other, it's going to affect all parts of it. And since we are more of educators here and students, I would like to talk about certain specific applications of AI in education. So a study published by eSchool News indicates that by 2021, the application of AI in education is going to increase by 47.5%. I want to bold, italics, underline that word increase. It does not mean it will reach 47.5. It means it will increase by that much. That means if we are at currently 30%, then we will be at 77.5% usage of AI in education. So it will be increased by 47.5. So what are the different, why should we be talking about AI in education? Number one, it will help us predict future student performance. So let's say I have data about my students, which was there about, let's say, last 5 years, I've gathered the data. So now I will be able to predict how that student will perform in the next year or in the upcoming exams. Not only that, as teachers, as educators, lot of time we fall short of words when we meet the parents in the PTMs, or we want to give feedback about our students. AI can help us really in a very big way, because it can provide unique tailored feedback for each and every student. Each student is different, and so should be the feedback given by that, for that student, by the teacher. So it will help us give a unique tailored feedback so as to bring up the best in that student. Third, which is the biggest thing and which I'm very passionate about, is personalize the learning process. Why do we always have to make every student study everything in the same order, in the same manner? Since we understand that there are different levels of students, why not give them different learning levels also, and let them decide what do they want to learn and how they want to learn it. So personalizing the learning process is another big application of AI in education. It will also help teachers adapt to the different learning styles. So let's say I do a chapter, and then after that I do an assessment, and based on the real time feedback of my students, I can gauge how much my students have understood, and I can adapt my teaching style based on the feedback given by my students. Obviously, again, one big thing is visualizations. We all know that we have almost 60% visual learners in our population. So if I have certain interesting visualizations which I use in my classrooms, and those visualizations are real time, as in, supposing I'm drawing a graph between X and Y, and if I can show how that graph will change with the changing values of X and Y, which is very much possible with AI in the scenario. So I will, if I'm able to show that to my students, the understanding will increase multifold, right? Similarly, we have voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, Home. We all have either heard about it or seen it in action. We have you been using it on our smartphone also. So we can use these kind of assistants to probably take away the routine jobs from teachers, like reminding students about upcoming assessments, or reminding students about the homeworks that are due. So we can pass on that work, which is routine mundane work, to the voice assistants, right? Similarly, I'm sure most of you have seen Grammarly in action, and we have some high school students also here, and some students from the universities. So they must be using Turnitin, which is again a wonderful tool which helps us know, have we plagiarized any part of assessment, assignment, or not only that, it tells us how much we have plagiarized, but it also tells which are the sections which have been plagiarized, right? So obviously, that is a wonderful, wonderful tool again, and a wonderful application of AI. Adaptive assessments, for the benefit of those who do not understand what is an adaptive assessment. So if I am a bright student and I come to the platform, so the assessment that is given to me should be different from what the other students are getting, who are probably at an average level or a below average level. That is what is an adaptive assessment. So the assessment changes according to the style of the learner or the person who's attempting the assessment. Quizlet and Topper are some of the platforms which are using these kind of adaptive assessments. And of course, schools can have smart building management systems, like, let's say, every time the students move out of the room, the lights go off, and you can always have the saving of energy that way, right? So we can have smart building management systems, curated open content. So for example, there are companies like Content Technologies, which, if you just mention what are the topics that you want to create content on, they pick up the best content available from different websites offering that content, and they allow you to curate your own open content. These are some of the wonderful applications. And now let's understand. As I said, AI is not only affecting education; it's also affecting all the other parts of the our life. So I've just collated a few case studies here, just to tell you what exactly is the application and how do different fields use it, different companies use it. So this is a case study about one of the superstores which was there in America, and they wanted to increase their sales. Now they tried very hard, a lot of strategies they used, but they were not able to increase the sales. Even if there was an increase, it was about 1%, 2% or so. So they thought, what should we do? So they hired a learning scientist, and and they told him that this is our purpose. So he said, okay, give me the data of your last 5 months sale, and I will suggest the strategies that you should be following. And suddenly he came up with the idea that put your beer and your diapers together. And the store owner was shocked. He said, what kind of strategy is this? He said, just try it out. The moment they put the beer and the diapers together, the sale of beer and diapers went up by 40%, a whopping 40%. So that means, if as a human, if I wanted to study that pattern, probably my brain would have never correlated beer and diaper together. But the machine was able to capture, because of the data that was fed in, the machine was able to capture the pattern that whenever there is a person who picks up diapers at night, he also picks up beer. Now the correlation, just for the people who are wondering what it means, the correlation is that if in America, since we have husbands also doing the babysitting at night, so whenever a husband is doing the babysitting at night, the child, when he takes care of the child in the night, he comes to buy diapers, he's bound to pick up beer because he has to stay awake in the night. So that was the kind of connection which probably the human mind would have never picked up that pattern, but the machine was able to do that, right? Similarly, we can also look at how Netflix uses big data. So big data is used by Netflix to drive big engagement. That means what they do is they study your patterns that you do when you watch net movies on Netflix. They study those patterns, they capture that data, and based on what kind of genre of movies you're watching, or what kind of series you are interested in, they throw that kind of more series and genre movies at you, so that you spend more time on their platform. And that's how they use this big data to drive big engagement. Similarly, Google, how does Google use this big data? So I don't know how many of you have noticed that, but in case you are a person like I'm, very much interested in artificial intelligence and machine learning, and I keep using that, keep searching about AI and ML and how they are impacting education and all these things. So whenever I go onto my browser, it gives me all that is happening around AI and ML in my area, in and around my area. So they refine the search and the ad serving based on your preferences. So that is how they use your big data, that they are capturing the preferences, right? Now, coming to LinkedIn. So how does LinkedIn use your big data? So LinkedIn has, I don't know how many of you know, there is something called artificial intelligence. There is a smaller subset of that is machine learning. And then another smaller subset of machine learning is deep learning. And deep learning is using layers of learning. Okay, so what the layers do, they learn from their data and then pass on that experience to the next layer. The next layer learns from the data, passes it on to the next layer, and so on and so forth. So there are deep layers of learning which is happening, and LinkedIn uses these layers to develop friend and job suggestions. I don't know how many of you have noticed, if you go to LinkedIn, you make your profile, or you're looking for somebody, or if you have some friend, it always says this person is your first connection, second connection, third connection, and so on and so forth. Have you ever thought, why is it only first, second, and third connection? Why never fourth? Why never fifth? So I'll tell you, I'll break that mystery out for you today. It is said that anybody in the world can be connected to you maximum at the third level. and that is why it's always first, second, and third connection. And how do they find out whether this person is level connection or a second level connection? That is where they use the deep learning networks, neural networks that they call it, and that is what is called deep learning. So LinkedIn uses these deep learning algorithms to develop friend and job suggestions based on your preferences. Let's look at banks. How do banks use this big data, and what does machine learning have to do with banks? So banks have to make a big understanding as to whether they should grant loan to somebody or not, because on a daily basis they get so many applications for loans. Now they don't want to waste their money, so they have to choose wisely whether they should be giving loan or not to a person. So how do they decide? So as you can see in this kind of a cartoon, I would say, the bank manager says, I can't give you loan because data shows that you are son of brother of mother of father-in-law of Vijay Mallya. So because he is some relation of Vijay Mallya, be it a very far off relation, but that person says, oh shit, how did they know? I have never revealed that anywhere in my data. But the bank knows that because of the deep learning platforms that they are using, the machine learning algorithms that they are using, that they know what is the relation this person has with Vijay Mallya, and based on that, they can decide whether to grant loan to that person or not. Similarly, how do the news channels use this AI and ML algorithms? So let's say you have seen that when you are talking about sensationalism is what is the news channels working on these days always, and it's always a fight between them as to who broke the news first. So the whole thing is who will make the breaking news first, right, about a particular incident. So let's say some incident happened and there is some report which is published somewhere. Now if a human tries to read this report, which you can see on the left side of your screen, so if an average human will take obviously about 5 to 10 minutes to read that kind of an article, but if we put that into a machine learning algorithm, in just a matter of seconds, the machine learning algorithm will actually find the keywords from that, and then it will again put those keywords into another machine learning algorithm, and a complete headline will be formed. And this part of artificial intelligence is known as NER, which is called named entity recognition. So that's how the news channels use big data. Then there are, of course, wonderful applications like backpacks. This is again an educational application. So as you can see in the photograph, there's a teacher who's just scanning the work of a student. So the student submits the hard copy of an assignment. The teacher simply scans it and puts it into the application. The application uses machine learning algorithm, checks it, and gives the score out to the child in a matter of seconds. Now, if the teacher has to do that checking, it will take probably days for her to check all the assignments of the students. But the machine learning algorithm can do it as fast as in a matter of few seconds, right? So this is probably the last one that I will be talking about today. This is called Writing Mentor. So this is again one of the platforms which you can search for on the browser. You can search for that in the Chrome browser or any browsers that you use. This is a wonderful application which uses AI, and it allows you to practice writing paragraphs. Perform, they give you kind of some hints, and if you say that I want to write on this particular topic, so they'll ask you, do you want some prompts? So you say yes, I want some prompts. So they help you write that paragraph. So they give the prompts, you write the paragraph, and once you have written, it automatically checks the paragraph also, and it gives you the performance ratio. So that means it tells you if you have made any grammatical errors, if you have made any comprehension errors, or if you have made some sentence formation is wrong, it gives you all that feedback. So this kind of applications are also possible with the AI. And at this point of time, I would also like to tell our students, our viewers, also about what is machine learning and what are the three parts of machine learning. So I've shown you a lot of case studies here, but if you know that machine learning is nothing but teaching a machine to think, Now, this thinking can happen either with supervision from the human or without supervision. If you have noticed in your WhatsApp, if you ever see a old person using WhatsApp, they would always type like with one index finger. They would go like this. So this is a person who's not very techno savvy, right? If you look at people at my age who are techno savvy, but not that much techno savvy as the generation Z that we have, digital natives, we are still learning to catch up with them. If I would be using, I'll be using the two thumbs to type, right? But if the generation Z student is using, they will just swipe their fingers and it automatically forms the characters. So what WhatsApp does is, again, there is a machine learning algorithm in place there, which is actually guessing what word you want to type, and based on that it gives you suggestions. And if it hasn't picked up the right word, you can pick up the right word through the suggestions that is given. So that is called unsupervised learning. Okay, then there can be supervised learning. Machine learning is of three types. This is unsupervised learning. The other one is supervised learning, where there will always be a feedback which will be given based on whatever is the performance, and then there is somebody to supervise the model, and there is the machine learns through that. And the third type of learning is reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning means that your every time it performs something, it will come back and ask you, have I done it right, have I done it wrong? You give it a good suggestion if it's done right, you give it some punishment if it's done wrong, and based on what kind of feedback you're giving, whether it's a good feedback or a bad feedback, it adjusts the next outcome. So that is what is the reinforcement learning. So there are three types of machine learning which are in place. This is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. I've tried to explain that as easy words as possible, and I hope you loved the presentation. At this point of time, I would like to hand over the mic to Piyush, and he can continue from here. Thank you so much, Piyush. Piyush, please unmute yourself. You're probably on mute.
Oh, yes. Sorry. There. Every time. So thank you, Gurpreet ma'am, for handing it over. And it's been a great case studies that ma'am shared with us regarding how some of the top companies across the world and industries are using AI and related technologies in machine learning or deep learning, and how they are changing how the things that are conducted. So, guys, we have done with the case studies right now. What I am going to take you through is why is it important for all of you, more than 6,000 people across our various platforms that who are seeing us right now on here on Webinar Jam and YouTube, why all of us need to know about AI and how is it going to impact and why is it going to be so important in the future. As just shared that people in different industries like information technology, marketing, finance, customer service, you name it, every domain is adopting artificial intelligence really rapidly. So it is going to be one of the great concepts, important concepts to know in the future if you want to be future ready, if you want to be future relevant. Again, and I was seeing some students commenting regarding the countries that have been really pioneering in AI. These are the 7 countries which have been working most extensively on AI. And do you see India's name over there? I don't see it. And the problem is, if we don't become early adopters of AI, we are going to have a lot to catch up with the people who are. So China, Germany, UK, US, Canada, France, and Australia are the 7 most leading countries right now that have been working in AI, and we need to bring India in that top list. So it becomes an onus of all of us to start understanding more about AI. Of course, the jobs in AI have been rapidly increasing, and we see that year on year, the AI-related jobs are rising by more than 400%. And if you look at AI, machine learning, and automation, the total is around 600 to 700%. Now, this is a whopping reality. People need artificial intelligence to be included into their workflows, into their new technologies, and they need more and more people. So who better than us and all of us who are now understanding the basics of AI to start working and building our skills in it? There are going to be more than 46 lakh AI automation jobs by 2025. That means that there is going to be a lot of people who are going to get employed in this industry. Also, there is a lot of investment happening from some of the top companies, with Amazon itself deploying more than $250,000 into their AI technology. And this number is growing and increasing across various top organizations. So guys, we have gone through the case studies. There is now a time to actually go through some ways to actually demonstrate how machines are using and learning to become more and more intelligent. So machines guessing shapes and objects. I think that's a funny thing we've all been seeing. We use TikTok, we use Instagram, and we find that some filters are able to identify who's there in the picture or what's there. Now, to go a little bit deeper into that, we have created an activity for you, and I'll just do my screen share and show it to you guys. And some of you just commenting, have already played with that. So we are going to share with all of you guys how machines can actually learn and learn very quickly to start behaving very, very intelligently. So I'm just going to share my screen here, and if you guys are not able to see, just you can ping me. Can all of you see my screen? That's great. So this is a tool created by Google, and which is based on their AI experiments initiative. And this uses the shapes drawn by people in the past, the doodling, the rough drawings that we make to identify what we are drawing currently. So let's go into it and see what does it say. So it's right now here, it's going to make me draw 6 drawings and guess let's see if the machine can guess what I'm drawing. So the first prompt is a bridge. Sorry guys,
I see grass, or rainbow, or bun, or hat. I'm stumped. Oh, I know, it's bridge.
Great, I got the first one.
I see diving board, or keyboard, or bench. I see sandwich. Oh, I know, it's piano.
Great, so I got the second one too. The third one is a book.
I see line, or ocean. Oh, I know, it's book.
Great. An umbrella. That's more
I see
easy.
rainbow. I see boomerang. I see helmet, or bun. Oh, I know, it's umbrella.
Great. And finally, an airplane.
I see line, or ocean, or pond, or pool, or flying saucer. Oh, I know, it's airplane.
Great. Oh, one more to go, tree.
I see line, or nose, or leg, or the Eiffel Tower. Oh, I know, it's tree.
So finally, we saw that Google was able to guess almost everything that I drew. But it may seem like that it's a hack. But if you look at, let's say, look at the bridge. So when I was drawing the bridge, what Google was comparing it was some of the previous drawings that people made. So this was the closest drawing that it received, which was the correct match as bridge. But it also compared it with eyeglasses, which somebody drew in the past, and a mushroom, which was drawn in the past as well. But how it was able to guess it was a bridge was because it matched with some of these drawings which people have drawn in the past. So guys, it was not by chance, but it was actually Google's intelligence that made it work. Let's look at an airplane, which is slightly more difficult. So airplane, actually, it looks very similar, and especially my drawing, to a shark as well. and it could think that it was also similar to a fish. But see, this is what people actually drew as planes, and what's why the Google was able to compare past data, past information drawn by people like me to identify that what I drew was actually an airplane. So, friends, I think that is one of the reasons why Google was able. So, Google actually this shows really well how data can be used. So, more than million people have actually used this tool, and all their doodles, their rough drawings, have been captured by Google, and they use it as an input for the next one. As Gurpreet ma'am was sharing, that this is the learning impact that the machines have, and how data is continuously being captured. So as I played this quick draw game, Google captured the 6 drawings that I made, and it is now being added into the repository of Google AI experiment. Now for future goals, for future identification, again, people will be able to, Google will use my drawings as well to compare with future people's doodling and give them a right answer. And frankly, it is, you should try, and we will share the links with you in the final email that we will share, where we will send you all your e-certificates to give you an understanding, and you can play with these tools yourself. We are at AdmitKard using this very similar technology, where we use to create something called a profile assessment report, and that is for creating an assessment for all students like you who want to study abroad. We use this technology by capturing data of students who have gone abroad to study in the past, and we use their profile and parameters to identify and suggest the best universities, the best countries, the best courses, and the right way to work on those lines with you. So guys, let's also look at one of the other buzzwords around AI, and something that's called chatbots. So it is, what is a chatbot? It's basically an artificial companionship where you are not dependent on having having an interaction to have another person on the other side. Now, chatbots have become very popular these days. When you go to e-commerce websites or some of the other portals, there will be a chat window where you can talk to, talk to an customer relations expert, or a sales agent, or somebody who's just helping you out in browsing through the portal. But it's something completely without human intervention. So those are actually chatbots, where the machine is understanding your response and giving an answer back to you. So for all those of you who want to experience a chatbot, I will suggest that there is this number displayed on your screen, and there is also an offer available on the side. You would see offer, so you can click say hi to our WhatsApp chatbot, and you can experience how a chatbot works. So guys, what I want from all of you is type this number in your phone, 851-288-6655, and WhatsApp AI to this phone number, and you will see the mad on the last activity. So let's take some time, while I share a little bit more about the chatbot. So once you have pinged AI, can you guys just message on the chat as well that you have tried and that your chatbot has initiated? You have to WhatsApp to the number 851-288-6655. You can actually WhatsApp any text, but preferably type AI, so that you can get a specific response. Great. I see a lot of you are already pinging it. So how does this chatbot work? So the chatbot actually receives that there is a response initiated by your end. So the chatbot believes that yes, there is somebody interested in exploring about studying abroad. And that is when the chatbot starts to uh, ask you the relevant questions to understand your intent better. It will ask you for your name, your email ID, your verification. It will also go ahead and start asking you about which countries you might be interested in, where you would want to work in the future, what kind of course you would like to study, and if there are any other specific questions which it feels are relevant in giving you the right response for your particular queries. And it starts to learn from your kind of profile and may end up going asking you about your academics, your work experience, depending on the responses that you provide. So that is how the chatbots actually start using your inputs and start asking more relevant questions like an intelligent human would have. So it becomes more conversational, where there is artificial intelligence behind the technology, which is actually making the chatbot ask the relevant questions to you. So I hope that you have already tried out this chatbot. And today at the end of presentation, we will not only be giving you an e-certificate, but we will also be giving you an opportunity to learn how to make a chatbot like this. So we are going to work more aggressively with some of the students who would be keen on creating and learning how to create chatbots themselves. So we are going to be sharing that knowledge with some of you next week. So guys, that now we have seen how an AdmitKard chatbot can actually create a human-like experience to you guys. Let's move ahead. And before I go beyond into how to build a career in AI, I would like to share that Google has actually, I shared with you one example like QuickDraw, but there are many, many more such tools that you can use to learn and understand AI. These tools are all present on the link that I'm showing. And I will also share with you along with your certificates. So you can use this time, tomorrow to experiment and play around with those tools and kind of understand how AI is being used in various domains. So a lot of questions asked. Yes, guys, Eric is the name of the chatbot, although it is a human name. So that's what you guys are referring to on the chat. Coming back to our topic. So a lot of people at AdmitKard, a lot of students and parents come and ask us, if I want my child to grow and build a career in artificial intelligence, then what should they do? So if you look at which degrees have helped students really create a career in the domain of artificial intelligence, some of them are actually very straightforward: computer science and IT. Because a lot of this logic, a lot of this thinking ability in the computer has to be codified by humans, and for which the basic skills required are being taught in computer science and information technology. But apart from that, actually what has to be taught, the computer science engineer works in in coherence with people with other domain knowledges. And some of the students who have mathematics and statistics background are the ones who are able to really create these thinking models and are able to create those research papers required to build onto this AI. And hence, mathematics and statistics is actually one of the very, very core domains used for working in AI and machine learning. As we also saw that AI is being used in finance domain very aggressively, especially in stock market trading, in sales and forecasting, and disaster forecasting, and pricing forecasting, and a lot of this technology uses financial acumen. And hence, if you are a finance graduate, not only will you be having good analytical skills, but you will be having a domain knowledge, and you can go ahead and build a career in AI as well. Also, if you look at economics, a lot of the AI work is being done in projection analysis. So a lot of people use economics as a background, which teaches us base models of how the world works. And as economists say that anything can be explained by economics, and they are the ones creating the base models of how the world functions. And AI is being used on top of this as for answering some of the core questions like global warming, internationalization of businesses, and how to remove poverty. So these are some of the domains which you can use for, if you are studying those domains, you can build a career in AI. Of course, there is no such domain which can not help you get into the domain of AI. But what is the core strength required, as I understand, is a lot of analytical strength. And these are some of the subjects which provide you that. A lot of the other engineering subjects as well, like mechanical engineering, civil engineering, chemical engineering, all these engineering aspects are also very core to creating a business, future in AI and machine learning. And if I talk about some of the countries we already saw that are having the top ranks in adoption of AI. So what we have done is we have picked some of the top colleges which provide a degree in AI and are able to create strong individuals to feed this industry and domain. Of course, some of the names are very straightforward, including MIT and Stanford. Harvard as well as a great university to study AI because they are working not so much on the computer science side, but around the psychology, economics, and finance side. We have NTU from Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, the University of Edinburgh in UK, UPenn and Cornell again and Carnegie Mellon in US, and RWTH Aachen University, which is based out of Germany. Germany, we saw, was already ranking second in AI, and RWTH Aachen has some of the greatest engineers building AI technology. So guys, for all of you, I would like to invite Ishwar, who is a mentor on AdmitKard and is studying robotics and AI at RWTH Aachen, and to share his experience and share how he is enjoying and creating a career in AI and share some of his work with you. So Ishwar, I'd like to invite you to come and present your work. So giving a quick background on Ishwar, he has worked as a senior engineer ME at WAPCO India. WAPCO is a global technology leader in commercial vehicle technology for trucks, trailers, buses, off-highway and fleet management solutions. He had done a bachelor's in mechanical engineering from Rajalakshmi Engineering College in Chennai. Hailing from Chennai, we are bringing you Ishwar Erahan, who's studying robotics engineering and AI at RWTH Aachen. Over to you, Ishwar.
Hi, everyone. I hope you are able to hear me.
Yes,
thanks.
Ishwar.
So I'm Ishwar. I currently pursue my master's in robotic systems engineering at RWTH Aachen, Germany. So to briefly tell about myself, I am a 2015 mechanical engineering pass out from Rajalakshmi Engineering College, and I actually worked for 3 years after that in commercial vehicle company. I mean, it's not a commercial vehicle company. It's a company which supports a commercial vehicle company. So we take care of the control systems there. And I got a role to play where I built assembly lines. So there was more of automation involved. So, and before that, I would like to say I had interest in robotics from my bachelor's. So I used to actively take part in robotics competition, even from my bachelor's, though my degree was in mechanical engineering. Always there's some mechanical aspect in the robot as well. So yeah, and after that, my job was also in a bit of automation. So it was process engineering, but I used automation for the assembly process that I built. And that's about me. And after 3 years, I felt that I need a specialization in robotics. So I applied to some of the universities, and I was lucky to get into RWTH Aachen University here. First of all, I just want to clarify, like I think the speakers earlier made a very good statement. They demystified what AI is, but I just want to tell you my perspective as well. Like, what is AI? So you need to think of AI as a tool. Okay, so how you see your phone or a computer as a tool, AI is also a tool. The only thing is the tool is powered by a computer right now. So AI is a tool, and to use that tool, there are many softwares which can actually happen, which can actually help you straight away with some nice user interfaces. But if you want flexibility in that tool, AI, programming is of paramount importance. So programming is actually nothing but it's a language, like how we communicate in English with each other. It's a way to communicate with a computer in a more efficient way. And the softwares that are developed around the world make that communication easy for you with a user interface. But when you want to program something in AI, then you better know some programming languages. And the programming languages depends on where you want to apply the AI. So as I told earlier, AI is a tool, and AI being a tool could be used in almost any area you think. So I'm being a robotics engineer and using AI as a tool to help the robot work in a better way. So I specialize in the domain of mobile robots. So robots which freely move in the ground, basically. Now, as of now, I'm just working with robots which move on the ground. So I make use of AI to make that possible for the robot to move in the ground autonomously. So usually in competitions, we used to control it with a joystick or something, but now robots are being built which are capable to make decisions and move on their own. So that's the power of AI. You can also use AI in many different aspects. For example, you can use them in medicine. And I think Google came out with this wonderful technology called retinopathy, meaning that they take a picture of your eye and they tell you if you are diabetic or not. And this was, I think, launched by Sundar Pichai back in Hyderabad like 2 years ago. So that's again AI. So AI is artificial intelligence, and it's a very big domain. I would, um, my advice to you is, if you're really passionate about cars, say for instance, if you're passionate about cars, read about cars and also inform yourself about AI so that you can see a way to bring in AI to the car. And I think many of you know about Tesla, and Tesla is developing autonomous cars. How are they doing it? So the car is something that they already have as a core product, and they're applying on AI on top of it. So you're making a car more intelligent that way. And this does not apply only to cars. As I told, it could be applied to any field, and it could be applied to make any field better. So AI is just a tool. Always remember that. And to be honest, I learned mechanical engineering for 4 years, and I will never regret it because it's not that I sometimes feel bad that I didn't learn programming at a very earlier stage, because I thought programming is for the computer guys, and I'm not one of them. But sorry, most of the machines today in the mechanical field use computers. So in order to interact with machines these days, you need to know a bit of programming. So that's one hard realization I had. And so,
Kerry, I want to become like you.
yeah. And one more thing is, I want to talk about how AI is different from India and how AI is different in Germany. So, as the previous speaker told, you could see that AI requires a huge amount of data, right? So, how do you do that? So, you need to start with proper data collection. For example, in the industry that I worked earlier, we worked on a project where we collect the details of an assembly line, where we track if there is a customer complaint, what went wrong in the assembly line to cause that complaint. So you need to have that kind of base data. So first step is base data collection. So India, I think as of now, is in the transformation, that is the transformation to digitization is happening in India right now. In industries, people are still a bit reluctant to actually switch to the digital format, but slowly that will kick in. And once we have huge amounts of data, we can make use of the huge amounts of data to train numerous artificial intelligence algorithms that can empower our production systems, which is of course our strength, right? So AI is a support system for anything anything you say. Like for instance, you want to navigate to a place from your house to somewhere, a new workplace, say, you don't know, you ask Google, what does it say? It comes out as a Google map suggestion, right? So how does Google Maps work? It's again based out of AI. So AI is a vast domain, and from AI, there's something which now it has become a buzzword just because of one concept called as machine learning. So machine learning is a statistical approach to AI, but there are many different approaches which were not great. So the machine that beat Gary Kasparov that was introduced earlier in the webinar was some other. It's a search algorithm that tried to search for the proper solution. But I know I think the crowd that I'm addressing is quite young, and I think some of you would be into gaming as well. So if you guys play Dota, for instance, there are computers which can beat professional players in Dota. And you think of Dota, I mean, it's much more complicated game than chess. So if it's able to beat you in Dota, then I think it can beat you in Go. So there are, I mean, AI could be used anywhere to help, to enhance us, to make us better in what we do already. So don't think of AI as something else. It's always, it's a part of your toolkit that you need to bring on. Like it's a part of tool. It's like how you know to operate a phone. It's like you need to know how to use AI to improve what you're actually doing on. And so in India, as I told, we are still in the data collection phase. Then we have this training, and then you get the output. So, and what do I say? I could also show you a small project that I worked on earlier for my robotics application. So, and I also think you need to get the big picture of what AI is before jumping on to a complete degree in AI. Because as I told, AI being a tool, it could be used anywhere. It could be part of any degree that you want to pursue. For example, one of my friend from India contacted me. She studies psychology, and psychology is using AI these days. The toughest thing to understand is a human brain, and if AI can help you there, and it has to, like, if AI is helping you in making psychological decisions, then of course then AI is actually a nice technology to work with. So we need to make use of it. So just be informed of what AI is before you choose a career in AI. See how you want to specialize. Of course, there are people who specialize only on AI, and those people need to be very good at as far as I know, because I myself am not an expert in the AI domain, I just make use of AI. I feel that people who want to pursue research in AI should have good mathematical background as to what is happening. And there are some mathematics course that could be done in order to make yourself have a better standpoint in AI. Okay, so there is some course called Mathematics for Machine Learning, which could be a really good start if you want to pursue career purely in artificial intelligence or machine learning. So you have to understand whether you want to incorporate AI into your life or whether it's the only thing that you want to do. So that decision is more important. And now let me go ahead and show you what I've done. Just a moment, I'll connect from another computer as well. It's taking a bit long, sorry. Yeah. I hope you're able to see my screen.
No, Ishwar, it's not visible as of now.
Okay, I don't know why.
We can try. I think it's a fabulous project. So we would definitely like to
Yeah.
our viewers
even
to
I
have
want to show it,
look
but
at what
I have some issues. I don't know why. webinar.
Probably there will be a little lag. So just try and de-share it and share it once again.
Yeah, that's
And
what I'm doing.
wait for some time.
Yeah, I'm waiting now.
And plus, when the screen sharing option window comes over there, you have to select
Yeah,
that.
I did it.
The moment you will select,
Yeah, I did it. Now it's showing turn screen share off, but it's only showing mine. Like, I don't know why though.
you're doing on the same computer or you're doing on a different one.
On a different one.
So
Yeah, let me.
I think that may be the problem.
Yeah, because I kind of just a moment.
So I think while Ishwar, you try and get your screen ready, we can move ahead and we'll quickly come back. I think it says now that you've joined from your other laptop.
I think now it's okay. Yeah, now it's
maybe
okay.
it's already.
I guess. Yeah, now I think it's working.
Yeah.
So this is one thing which I wanted to show. Basically, this is called object detection. So basically, from an image or a video, a computer will be able to say what it was actually seeing in the video or the photo. I just made this, and it's similar to what Mr. Piyush was explaining earlier. It's like how Google was able to understand what he was drawing. So the drawing that he gave actually was an image to the computer. It just compared with a lot of images, and then it said, okay, it's a plane, it's a bridge or something. So here it says it's a person, it's a mobile phone and stuff like this. So this is one application that I developed. I mean, it's not completely developed by me. Like, I made use of some external libraries as well. And this is another experiment that I did. And what it tries to do here is it tries to find my body parts. So if you can see closely, it highlights my eyes, ears, nose, shoulders, elbows, maybe my knees and hips and stuff like this. So why I did this is because I'm a person who's actually developing robots, which is going to travel in the road along by some pedestrians. So we need to make sure that the robot does not go and collide a human being while traveling from one place to another. So I just wanted to, we are just experimenting whether this type of detection could tell us, okay, there's a person there, the robot should not move forward right now, because if it moves, it's going to collide with the person. So that was the idea here. So that is what I'm actually currently working on. And yeah, that was the small project that I wanted to show. I think I'll stop my screen share. Yeah, so that's it from my side. Thanks a lot for your attention, and stay home, stay safe. Hello.
Over to you, Piyush.
Okay, by the time Piyush joins, Ishwar, there were so many queries for you, and one of the query was that since you are studying in Germany, so which is the teaching medium they have language-wise? Whether they teach in English or whether they use the local language over there?
Actually, it's in English. The course that I study is in English. So yeah, because I myself don't know much of German, to be frank. Like, I know a little bit of German. I was like, okay, why not invest my time in programming? Like, because that is where I want to work. And so Germany, there are courses which teach you in German language, but then yeah, this course, whatever I'm taking right now, yeah, it's in English.
There is an option basically that, okay, they are teaching in English also, because normally there is in our mind, this is the conception is there that when you go to France, Germany, all these countries, they teach using the local language over there.
Yeah, teaching does happen in local language, but they will tell you beforehand whether the entire course is going to be in which language. So here there are a few courses which happens in English as well as in German, and they tell you beforehand, even before your admission or even before you apply. They tell you whether it's an English course or if it's a, a German course or it's going to be a mix of both. So I just chose a course, and luckily
Okay.
robotics was offered completely in English.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
over to you,
yeah,
Piyush.
welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for asking Ishwar any questions. Also, all the guys who are there, if you have any questions for Dheeraj sir, Gurpreet ma'am, or Ishwar or myself, you can start putting them on the chat so that we have enough questions to start answering. Also, before I pass it on Mr. Bhatia for concluding and sharing a summarization of what AI would mean to all of us, I'd like to share that we are organizing a 2-day workshop which will be hosted by our head of technology, who's been building all the AI behind AdmitKard for the last 2 years, and myself. And the workshop will cover two aspects. One of the core things which Ishwar mentioned about, which is data collection, which is very, very critical in terms of how to, when you are looking at building an AI solution. So the first day will talk about fundamentals of AI and data collection strategies and how to collate that data so that it is usable by a computer. On the second day, we are going to introduce on how to create a chatbot, what are the different kinds of chatbots and their applications, and we will also help all of you create a chatbot of your own, which you can share with your friends and have more fun. So COVID-19, coronavirus, all these things will never let us stop from learning, and we will be there with all of you for using through this workshop, teaching you about various fundamentals and getting our hands, into the act and talk about data collection and creating your very own chatbots, which you can share with your friends. And this will be a basic project for you to be done over 2 days, 2 hours each day on this coming Saturday and Sunday. So guys, for that, although we have a few limited seats because we cannot work with a lot of people at the same time, our session this weekend, we have also offered a discount on our enrollment. You will also receive that link later on, and you can see that link also pinned onto the chat, so you can open that and register from there. You will also receive the registration link on your email, and we would be happy to share and teach you more about AI and get your hands into the basics of it, so that you can then learn and start learning more about it. This is good for both students as well as teachers who might want to pass it on to their students in the future. So looking forward to having you guys with us this weekend. Now, finally, I would like to ask Mr. Dheeraj Bhatia to take over and create and share with us his final words regarding how education and the overall world itself will learn and benefit from AI.
Yeah, thank you, Piyush. Thank you for the wonderful session so far. Before
Dheeraj sir,
we
please.
conclude, before we conclude, I have a question. Is Gurpreet ma'am there? Can we have Gurpreet ma'am, please?
Yes, sir, I'm right here.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, CBSE has introduced AI as a course from class 8th onwards. Not
Yes.
many schools and teachers, they are not aware about that. Can you please enlighten us all about what is that course all about, whether it is a subject, all those basics which everyone should know about that?
So AI has been introduced by CBSE as a skill subject from grade 8 up till grade 12. And they also intend to take a board exam for this subject in grades 10th and 12th. And they are, progressing the students year by year. So it's a kind of a curriculum which they have suggested, and that includes programming in Python, and also it also includes a combination of AI with other subjects. So it's not being taken as a AI pure subject kind of a thing. It will also use a lot of activities with probably social science, with science. Like I gave some case studies today. We were short of time. Otherwise, I would have used the time to also show you some real life examples as to how science is usually using AI in a big way, and how we can bring these topics into our everyday classroom, right? So that can be always been done. The only problem which I see with introduction of this subject in the schools is that not all teachers are ready for it. So first we need to actually train our teachers, to transact this particular curriculum. So I think CBSE has to take one step forward now and kind of arrange workshops for teachers, or probably industry people like Piyush have to take a front step, and probably just like you are saying that we are going to have a workshop for students next 2 days, right? Saturday and Sunday, you said weekend we are organizing it. I would request if you can have such workshops for teachers as well. That would be a big help. Piyush, I hope you're listening. Right? So because
No,
I
ma'am,
feel,
absolutely.
yeah, I feel until and unless the teachers are ready, the students will not be able to be guided properly. Although CBSE has taken a very bold step by introducing this subject, but now they also have to make sure that the teachers are ready to transact this curriculum also.
Very true, ma'am. The soft skills which are required to teach this subject to the students, they need to be imparted to the teachers so that they in
Absolutely.
turn can train the students over
Absolutely.
there.
Right.
So
Right.
that would be great, ma'am, if you can work with Piyush or some other companies,
Definitely.
right, to create those specific courses, because AI, as we say, that is the need of the hour over there. Piyush,
Definitely.
you talked about this particular course, 2 days workshop over there. So
Ji.
it's a 4 hours of workshop. So, what are the value add-ons? Let's say if I want to do, or any student wants to do after this course, how it will add to their knowledge, skills? Is it some activity also? If you can just briefly tell us the outcomes of the course,
So
the
absolutely,
learning outcomes.
absolutely, and as you know, in very practical manner, Ishwar was saying that why Germany is ahead of times as compared to India is because they have a lot of data available to them in a structured manner. So the learning outcome of day one is going to be how do you start capturing data, and how do you actually uh, store it in a structured way so that analysis can be done on top of it. It sounds very counterintuitive that you are not going to be writing any code which is not required. So it is a very simple tool where students, even from class 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, any classes can actually learn. And we are going to use some live websites from where we are going to take that data, and we are going to learn how to store that data. We will not use computer databases, but simple Excel. But how do you mine and capture data from a live, real scenario, and then that can be used for making decisions? So that's how we are going to start. We are going to work on and on day one as the learning outcome. Day two, we have picked up one of the applications of AI, which is a chatbot. So the data
Right.
that we are going to capture on day one and let all the attendees store in one place, we are going to start using that data to train a chatbot, which we will help students link it to a Facebook bot, a Facebook chatbot, so that that chatbot they can share and use with their friends. And it will also be a fun activity for them to understand how their data that they captured was actually used by the machine to start asking and answering questions like a human, and have a human like behavior being delivered by a machine. The platform we will use is Facebook, so that it is more user friendly and almost all students would have access to it. So at the end of the second day, we would have actually used the data collected in a real world scenario, in a real world outcome of a chatbot, which they would be having as their own self made project, which they can build on into in the future.
Good. And Piyush, in that case, the students, it means, I assume that the students who are undergoing the course, they will be doing that as a project assessment also. They will be making their own project also.
Yes, so every student will make their own chatbot. So every student will get to create their own mini project. We will have three different kind of data sets that they can use. So different students they will be creating different queries and different questions, and hence they will overall have a very different chatbot. So everyone will end up creating unique projects, which they can, of course, use and share as part of their profile building as well. Also, more importantly, learning the real essence of AI.
Okay, Piyush, since you are involved in developing this chatbot and using a lot of AI in your own organization, so I have got a tough question for you. Basically, people they say that yes, while we are developing the chatbots, because as Ishwar said, that technology and even artificial intelligence is a tool to help us. But many of the times I have seen that it takes a lot of patience to really reach to the exact level over there. Let's say I'm working on a sport from Apple, and if I want something, it really requires a lot of patience from me to reach. It asks so many questions that sometimes, as a common person, you lose that patience. So, what is the solution, and how this process, when we say intelligence, I understand that that's why the word artificial is picked up over there. So, how can you help to understand the query of the user fast? Because currently it is not the user's query, but you are putting a standard set of questions and then they making the computer answer that.
So absolutely, this is actually how the evolution of speed of input. So earlier, so it asked you to type it on your computer or press a button. Now, as we are all using, and Gurpreet ma'am also shared about Siri and Alexa and Google Home, they're starting to use voice inputs so that that input can be given faster and in a more intuitive manner. Now, face recognition is one of the early technologies which is using just facial expressions to actually take inputs. So there are the friction between a human and an AI interface. On the other side, I think AI is also becoming, as more and more data is captured, the question is that if I am going to ask a question today, then what is the expected next question? So in one of the examples that Gurpreet ma'am said, that if I am buying diapers and maybe at a particular time of the day, then I'm more probable to actually buy beer at the same time. But right now, most of the AI technology that is commercial is not uses full. It is contentless, which is basically it does not take into consideration what is the last question that you ask. So if you basically ask Alexa today, who is A.R. Rahman? Alexa will search and tell you about A.R. Rahman. And if you ask the next question, Alexa, can you suggest a good song to listen to? It is not going to take into consideration that you just asked about A.R. Rahman, and maybe that's what you are interested in. So speed increasing, the queries are becoming contentful, stateful, and that is how the friction will reduce with time, and the technology's usage will become more and more streamlined. Ishwar, if you're there, maybe you can also add on, because you are working, absolutely into that domain. So maybe you can also share your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Actually, if you look at it, whatever decisions you're seeing right now, saying, for example, you illustrated an example saying that it's a plane, that Google was able to detect it's a plane, it's a bridge, or it's a tree or something. If you look at it closely, and if you start learning about AI, you will try to understand that whatever it is telling is actually a probability. So if you look at the algorithm, it would say that, okay, it's 90% sure that it's a tree, and it's 10% sure that it's not a tree. So we as programmers, what we are doing is we're just saying, okay, the algorithm has 90% confidence on it, and we declare that as an answer. So if you look at it, I wouldn't say like why we are not able to use AI in real life for serious issues like automated driving and stuff like this. It's because of the fact that it's just 90% sure, and a person who knows 90% to drive is not allowed to drive in the road, and that's the issue. And of course, you can experiment. So for example, the supermarket example that was given is basically implemented using data mining, which is a subset of artificial intelligence. And you have algorithms to do data mining, and they tell you which products are bought together often. So I think the example that was given earlier was trying to link beers with diapers because it was bought together more often in the past data. So in those areas, you can make use of AI to do some experiments. Just because you're placing beers near the diapers, it's not going to risk anything there, right? So, but if you allow a car which is driven by AI, maybe it will run over a few people and people are going to die. So you need to be really careful where you want to apply your AI. And of course, the technology is becoming better, but I wouldn't say it's mature enough completely. It's still on the research phase, and I think it will take years to mature in to make it really responsible and safe for everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Piyush. Thank you, Ishwar, for the wonderful answer.
Yep.
I think it has solved a lot of this thing, that wherever the risk element is involved, the probability theory, wherever the risk element is involved, we will not like to take a chance. Overall,
Yes.
lot of things they are happening in healthcare, and Google is working on a project, Google Life Corporation in California, where the purpose is to improve improve the quality of the lifespan, and number two, even make this lifespan longer and even better. So in one of the conferences which I attended, one of the person who is working into the clone science, he said, don't be surprised that the people who live till 2025 may live forever. Although we say that, yes, the only universal truth in life is that mrityu hi atal satya hai. So with the disruption, we may even have that kind of life where even this atal satya of mrityu, of death, that may get changed also. So let's hope what kind of lives we are going to live forward. Thank you everyone for coming and attending this session. These sessions are brief awareness sessions which we are conducting on sensitizing people towards how technology is impacting and is going to impact our lives. Within these short 1 hour duration of session, it is not possible for us to address each and every audience who is coming maybe with some specific objective. So we are sorry if we are not able to address all your queries, but you can definitely send us your queries on email and we will definitely reply to that. Thank you everyone for coming over here. Thank you so much, Gurpreet ma'am. Thank you, Ishwar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Piyush, for
You're
enlightening
welcome.
us about the essentials of artificial intelligence. Thank you, all of you, once again.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bye.
Do
and
keep
stay
on
home, stay
sending.
safe.
Yeah.
Do keep on sending your queries.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. And I think we have just overshot our time by a few minutes. We will be sharing your certificates via email. So do you can look at that, and you can if there anybody who misses it out or by chance the email gets bounced, do write back to us on info@admitkard.com, and we'll make sure that you get your certificates. As well as we will also be sharing the information regarding the workshop with all of you, and hoping to see more of you join in and start embracing AI as an awareness. And as Ishwar said, it's not just for any particular computer science, but for every domain. We need to be aware of it while we are pursuing anything, any profession. So it's open for everyone. It was great to have you, and we had a lot of viewers on YouTube. So all of you on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, and we would love to have you back for the next webinar. And we are working on creating more and more interesting topics, which will help you get awareness about many more things. So most likely the next webinar will be on blockchain, and I'll come back to you, all of you, and you will receive the notification. So guys, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll all see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gurpreet
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
Ishwar, please take care. All right, bye-bye.